In this video, we're going to go over consciousness-altering drugs. There are four major classes of consciousness-altering drugs. First, we have stimulants. From their name, stimulants reduce fatigue and drowsiness. They also increase libido and wakefulness and produce euphoria. One of the most common stimulants that is taken around the world is caffeine, as people enjoy their daily coffees or morning espressos. Another is nicotine, which is found in cigarettes. But we also have more serious stimulants like amphetamines and cocaine. Now, stimulants in general share a common mechanism in that these drugs usually function by blocking the reuptake of neurotransmitters, including dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. The effect of blocking the reuptake of these neurotransmitters means that these neurotransmitters will persist for longer periods of time in the synapse and exert longer and stronger effects. So cocaine, for instance, blocks the reuptake of dopamine. If dopamine cannot be taken back up into the presynaptic cell, then it will continue to bind to the postsynaptic receptor to exert its effects. And dopamine, as you know, is heavily involved with the reward circuit. So that's one of the reasons why cocaine is an extremely addictive drug. Next, we have depressants. Again, from their name, depressants produce calming effects, pain relief, and sleep. They reduce arousal or stimulation and slow the heart rate and respiration rate. Depressants include alcohol, benzodiazepines, and barbiturates. The depressants, these drugs function by facilitating the neurotransmission of GABA. GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter, so essentially it has a global effect of reducing activity in the central nervous system. Next, we have hallucinogens. These drugs are named for their ability to produce hallucinations in humans. Hallucinations are sensations or images that seem real but are not real. Hallucinogens include marijuana, LSD, and PCP. The mechanisms of action for hallucinogens is more variable. Marijuana acts on cannabinoid receptors, LSD is a serotonin receptor agonist, and PCP enhances dopamine neurotransmission, both as a dopamine agonist and by blocking dopamine reuptake. Opioids produce pain relief and decreases many body functions, such as breathing rate. Opioids include opium, morphine, and heroin. Generally, the most common feature of opioids is to produce pain relief, which is why there are many types of opioids that were used to treat pain in clinical settings. The problem, of course, though, is that opioids are also highly addictive, so that's a major issue in the pain field. The way that opioids act is as agonists of opioid receptors. And one thing to know about the opioid receptors is that their endogenous ligands include endorphins, enkephalins, and dynorphins. These endogenous ligands you do want to be familiar with because this is something that the MCAT will test. So you want to know, for instance, the endogenous version of these opioids are like endorphins. So these endogenous ligands do have some pain relief effects, but just not as strong as these opioid drugs. Okay, so those are our different consciousness-altering drugs.